Hey guys, I'm here with Chris Garcia, and we're just talking about the importance of Genesis and how a recent movie that came out called Genesis Impact really changed your life, and I know it did for me as well when I saw just this girl that's featured in the movie, how she engaged with people and to really engage with the docent at the museum in a respectful way, but ask questions about evolution, about human evolution particularly in the movie, and even the flood. And does it line up with good logic and science, and how actually the science points to God's word being true? Like, what were your thoughts when you saw that movie?
As growing up, evolution was a very strong topic for a lot of people. It was taught in schools, and that's what I believed until I found out about the reality of God. And then I started digging deeper, and I was taking classes, and I stumbled upon this book called Genesis Impact.
Yeah, it kind of goes along with the movie too.
What they talk about in there, what most stood out to me was that evolutionists don't really have the full picture mapped out, and they're running off hypotheses and theories. It's not sound science where they're going off hunches, and that's what I've taken most from watching Genesis Impact. How the girl, she just uses the columbo tactic and tries to pinpoint where the evolutionists are not using sound science to prove their theories, and they're just going with hunches.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think it's interesting when you bring up columbo tactic. It's really just asking questions to make a point, and so I think that's one of the things that we struggle with as believers is how do we engage with others but do it respectfully. And one of the questions she brings up is, well, what do we do with the Laetoli footprints that predate when humans were even supposed to be around? But this topic of Genesis is so important. And of course, some believers try to combine it, saying God used evolution. The problem is you're saying that God's saying death is good before Adam and Eve, which really becomes a problem with the character of God and when sin and suffering entered the world. And so the problem of evil is answered really well, and sin, suffering, death didn't enter the world until after Adam and Eve sinned. But what are some other things that stand out to you about this movie that helped you?
Well, it was interesting that they talk about a point in this book, and I watched it on YouTube as well. On Genesis Impact, they talk about how there's a kill zone in the United States they found hundreds of dinosaur bones across the United States in the Midwest area.
Yeah, in the Morrison Formation.
Yeah. And they talk about it, and they talk about how these bones were discovered, and the heads of these dinosaurs were pushed back. And the book talks about this pose that they died in. It's called the death pose, and it was indicating rapid burial or suffocation, which really intrigued me because it seems like they're being forced into that position. And it's interesting because fossils, a certain sequence of events needs to happen for a fossil to take place, and for hundreds, was it thousands?
Fossils all around the world that seem to be buried by a rapid event.
Yes, and it just leads to my believing that God, punished the world with water. Yeah.
We've got millions of fossils laid down by water, millions of dead things buried everywhere. It sounds like a global catastrophic flood. Now, we have a special event coming up with the Paso Creation Network, and this is the first real conference that we're trying to do. We wanted to bring together believers and those even that have some training in scientific backgrounds to put together main sessions and breakouts even for kids, teens, and adults to focus on specific things like the flood, dating methods on the age of the earth, and dinosaurs, and folded layers. Kids will do like a Play-Doh activity for our upcoming Defending Genesis conference, and you may want to come to this. It's November 6th at Scottsdale Baptist, 8:30 to 3 p.m. And it's going to be an exciting time. We'll have lunch together and have a lot of fun and also learn and grow together. So I think that'll help you out, and I'd love for those watching to be able to join us as well.